Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bushman, Lance Biliaccio, hard-hitting talk at your fingertips. This is the broadcast for February the 26th in the year of our Lord 2025. This is Hour 202, promoting God, family, country, protecting life, liberty, and property. Doing so using the supreme law of the land, the Constitution for the United States of America. Folks, headline, Sam goes from don't dip your toe in the crypto to we may all be forced into crypto, bro. That's the way it's looking, ladies and gentlemen. Like it or not, crypto's here to stay. And so the question becomes, how do you navigate that? How do you deal with it? And, you know, an IT guy like me, at first glance, said, hey, don't dip your toe into it. There's been a lot of scandals. But at the end of the day, it's going to streamline, and we're all going to be involved, especially when you have a president that's super, super positive on crypto. Things are going to change in the next 4 years. Write it down. Remember who told you first. Any comment on that before we move along, Lance?
Listen, we're winning them over one at a time. You're going to have to deal with crypto. It's here to stay, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm happy that, Sam, you're just dipping your toe in the water just a little bit. It's good to hear that because, I want to make sure you don't miss out on the opportunity for generational wealth because you're my buddy.
Don't dip your toe in the crypto, folks, is what I usually say. And it's because it can just go so wrong for so many people. And I just don't want people's portfolios to be, destroyed over it. So be really, really, really careful. But I'm telling you right now, we may all be forced into crypto, bro. That's really the way it is. And you got to understand that. And so when you do, then you got to say, okay, fine. Now how do I find out which crypto's the safest? The least subject to wild, extreme gyrations. Which one might actually have constitutional currency behind it? Which one could I use without possibly, losing my shirt because I lost my hard drive and by golly, $800 million. I'm trying to go to the landfill and get it back, or I lost my passphrase, and so how do you do all that? There's ways, and there's going to be ways, and the best way is education, right?
Exactly. And that's what I was just about to say that. Head over and watch the new Crypto Power Hour on Rumble. That show is going to have all that in there for you. I'm not going to tell you we're going to get 100% of it right 100% of the time, but we're going to do the work so you don't have to. And we're going to simplify it, and we're going to educate you. That's one of the plans, is to actually take people through, so they understand what DeFi is, what blockchain is, what does a rug pull mean. We're going to make a point of really trying to educate the masses because I think it's important. That's the type of show it's going to be. So don't forget Crypto Power Hour on Rumble. That's my solution, Sam.
Crypto Power Hour. Starting on Rumble when? Friday?
This Friday at 3 p.m.
I love it. There you have it. All right, and it's going to be you, and who's going to be on there with you?
So we've got Kirk St. John's. A lot of people refer to him as crypto's most interesting man. He's the founder of Solum Global. So great, super expert, been in crypto since about 2011 or 12. And then, of course, he's joined by Antonia Moss. People online refer to her as the crypto queen. Super knowledgeable, very experienced, and she's got this great little British accent, so you're going to love her. And she's just as attractive as her accent is, I got to tell you. And, of course, George Ballantyne and myself, the Crypto Bros, we're going to be there doing what we normally do, educate and unifying the country one episode at a time. So I'm excited about it.
Team Crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Miliaccio launches the Crypto Power Hour on Rumble starting this Friday. Check it out. All right, moving along. I don't know which is the art of the deal here. We got a story about Ukraine, Donald, and then we got a story about a golden toilet, not gold-plated. I'm talking hardcore golden toilet. I don't even know which is the art of the deal. Everybody's getting a deal, Lance.
Yeah. Well, only because I think I got to lead with the gold. I'm going with the gold toilet for right now. First of all, I've been tricked. I honestly
yes,
thought.
You have, buddy.
I did, because I thought all the gold toilets are out there. The hype of a gold toilet. I know there's some places in Amsterdam that talk about their gold urinals and toilets. And I've heard about gold toilets in Mar-a-Lago. Now, I was at Mar-a-Lago this past week. I didn't see any gold toilets. The regular restroom, I didn't see it. I was there for a big event. It was amazing.
You got to go into Melania's headquarters for that, buddy.
I guess. I don't know. I wonder if the FBI agents used the gold toilets while they were in there. Of course, they went through Melania's underwear drawer, so you don't want to put anything past those guys. But, $6 million gold toilet. I mean, this was a crazy over the top raid. It was a smash and grab. And this was a one of a kind 18 karat gold, and solid gold toilet. And they stole it in under 5 minutes from what I guess a location called the Blenheim Palace. Which is this big country mansion where Winston Churchill was actually born. Now, this happened in 2019, but I guess the case is just going to trial now. But, man,
That's
Sam,
what
I
you
got
call a
tricked. I
speedy
thought they were all
trial.
gold-plated. I would have thought about it. I'm like, hey, a gold toilet, man, wow.
And this thing, I don't understand, too. Only $6 million. If it's like a solid gold, it should be worth way more than that, shouldn't it?
I don't know what the valuation was. Gold's sitting right around $3,000 an ounce almost. I think it's 2,900 and change this morning. I saw the ticker go by. I didn't really look, but
Yeah.
it's at an all-time high.
It's around
so
$3
I'm
grand,
guessing.
yes.
How much would a toilet weigh, Sam? That's got to be how many kilos of gold? Those toilet, and especially a gold toilet. How much is it going to weigh?
I don't know. That's my whole point. Is $6 million seems like nothing.
Does a gold toilet help with constipation? That's all. I'm just trying to figure it out. What's the benefit of this gold throne? What's the story behind it?
Well, I don't know. All I know is this. It's supposed to be the what do they call those things? Those special bidets? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, no, the bidet.
Bidets,
How come it
yeah.
didn't have a gold bidet to go with it? Is that what you're trying to say? You're thinking
Yeah.
they shorted it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen,
the heck?
I just found the weight. I got to share this with the audience. So this
Okay.
toilet, and Sam, we could do the math. My guess is gold's right at about 2,900 and change an ounce. Now, I don't know.
Okay, but you got to
if they
understand,
melted-
gold is a troy ounce, though. It's not a normal ounce. You understand that, right?
So this is 215 pounds of gold, or 98 kilos, and they had it insured for $6 million. Now the gold value at that time was 2.8. And they're using British pounds here. So the value of the gold at that time was $3 million. But because this was a satirical piece of artwork that had been displayed at the Guggenheim, they gave it a higher valuation than just the straight gold flushing power.
All I can tell you, man, is if they just give me the toilet seat, if it's gold too, I'd be happy with just that, Lance.
Exactly. Would you
saying.
feel better if you were sitting on a gold seat when you were doing your business, Sam?
I'd feel worse.
Yeah, I think I'd ended up trading it in very quickly for one of those $19 lids over at Home Depot, and I'd probably go cash it in at $2,900. Although they say gold is undervalued right now, that a lot of people are predicting $4,000 an ounce.
And I think that's reality. And I know gold's gone up big time in the Trump first administration, so it's going to go up this time too. And I don't know if you know this, but even Tucker Carlson's talking about more countries are trading gold quietly than in any other time in history. Isn't that
Yeah, I
interesting?
did know that. A lot of them have approved adding silver. A lot of people are suggesting, and our guys over at Genesis
Silver
Gold Group,
toilets?
Jonathan
I
Rose,
could maybe
and the team.
afford one of those dudes.
Well, I want to tell you this. Silver is what, $32 an ounce. A
Yeah.
lot of people are saying because of the technical needs, the military-industrial complex needs, and just the fact that a lot of countries are approving it as part of their strategic reserve, many people are thinking that old Hunt Brothers price of $50 an ounce is imminent.
For silver?
Yeah, for silver.
Yeah, I think that's reality. I think it's not.
And
I
they're
think
telling
it's
people
reality.
they're
I think it's imminent.
stackers.
Now, understand this, too. People need to understand this. Silver is way undervalued. You said gold's undervalued, and I think you're correct, but silver is even more so. Listen to me. Right now, silver's anywhere from 85 to 90 to 1, silver to gold, ounce-wise, right?
Right.
85 to 90. Well, traditionally in America, back in the day when, constitutional currency was king, honest money was the reality, it used to be a 15 or 20 to 1 ratio. And if you look at that and you take $3,000 for gold, just say, right? And you take 3,000 divided by, let's just say 20 to 1. So divided by 20, right? $150 an ounce for silver is what it would look like. So that 50 is nothing, even so, although I think that's a reality. That's nothing. So silver is really what's undervalued.
Well, I will tell you this: the guys over at Genesis Gold Group, and you can always go check them out over at genesisgoldgroup.com or genesisgold.com, or also at the bigmigbar.com. They got lots of educational material. They're telling people, and this is their advisement, and these guys are experts. They've been in the industry for just decades, that you should weigh your bullion your bullion accumulation at a 70-30, 70% being silver. And that's the first time historically that they've recommended to hold more silver than gold since they started. So it's interesting. They're saying
I've recommended that forever, by the way.
Oh,
because most of us can't have much gold, right? I mean, who can? How many ounces can you buy at $3,000 an ounce, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
And then the question becomes, when you're bartering or dealing later down the road with this kind of stuff, let's say gold is $10,000 an ounce or something crazy, or $5,000. How are you going to trade for that? Like to get some gas for your car or tires replaced for your car or whatever. You don't have any fractionalization on that. You try to chop up your gold and give people a piece of it or something. Anyway, let's go ahead and skip the break. We've got too much to cover on the radio today, man. I'm just telling you right now. So I don't know if that's the art of the deal, but I'm telling you right now, whoever got that gold toilet, and as far as I understand, they haven't recovered it. They chopped it up and sold it?
It doesn't sound like they're going to get it back. I assume it got sawed up. I don't really know. I'm sure. I don't know how you do that, though. Maybe they melted it down, because at the end of the day, how do you walk in and you've got the lid or you've got the flushing handle and you're like, hey, how much would you give me for this? I'm not sure how do you explain where that came from? Oh, yeah, my uncle
I need
had
the
a
whole
gold
toilet, buddy. I don't just need the handle.
Yeah. I mean, that handle had to have plenty of weight in it, just the flushing operation and the pipes, because it completely went into the wall with gold. So,
yeah, and as far as I understand, what they did when they ripped this sucker out in 5 minutes, they got in and got out real quick. Like, it reminds me of somebody with a Slim Jim in a car, and they're like, "Watch this."
Here's the interesting part, which I don't really I can't connect it, but the title of this, this satirical artwork, and it's by a guy named Maurizio Catalan. The title for it was America.
Well, that's just his way to mock America, right?
I guess, or maybe he was talking about what gets flushed down the toilet as being America. I'm not sure. I guess you. Or
maybe he's talking about we're the only ones with any real gold. Of course, we got to look into Fort Knox and see if it's there.
Yeah, maybe we're so wealthy that we can afford gold toilets. I don't know.
Maybe they turned all the Fort Knox gold into toilets. Maybe when you go in there, you just see a bunch of toilets.
I mean, right now, the gold metallic spray paint around the Fort Knox area, they've run out. They're over there painting bricks.
Painted tungsten, right?
What about that audit, Sam? What do you think? Let me ask you. I want a prediction. I'm putting you on the spot. What's your prediction for the Fort Knox gold? What do you think they're going to find when they do this audit?
I don't think they're going to even do it.
You don't think so, huh?
Nope.
They're sure.
Because even if they do it, hold on. Even if they do it, how much of it will be political theater versus how much will you really know in the end? Let's say that I got a camera on there, man. I got a GoPro and I roll in there.
They say they're going to televise the whole thing, though.
I know, but let's just say that I roll in there and I do this and that, and then I show you. And how are you going to really know, though? What if it's just tungsten painted like gold? I'm like, yep, it's here. See, look at this. See it all right there. And how are you going to really know?
What I think is that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have to walk around with little gold meters, and they have to test the bricks as they're walking by.
Well, they're going to have to for sure.
I think that has to happen.
The problem is you're going to have to trust it is the problem. Now, if they start getting Ron Paul in charge of the Fed, now I might believe it's going to happen. Okay, but until then, I just have my doubts.
Paul? He has never wavered on end the Fed. Never. He said it from the very beginning, and I think he said it right on his deathbed.
And that's why I believe him. If he told me that the gold was really there and he personally tested it, I would believe it. Other than that, I don't mean to be rude, but I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't even trust Elon Musk or Donald.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Just imagine the reality TV star rolling in there to tell you the gold's there.
Missing. I think they're going to find a lot's missing.
Think about it. The reality TV star is going to go in there and tell you gold's there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the real art of the deal now.
Yeah, I mean, this is big news. And everybody made fun of Trump. They said, "Oh, come on, what are you doing? This is wrong." And we look. So let me make my stance here.
I think it's
first.
Smart as could be.
I've got to take my stand. First of all, I'm tired of us funding kinetic events all over the globe. I'm tired of it.
Amen.
We've got veterans living on the street. We've got infrastructure needs here. Our roads and our highways and our bridges. There's all kinds of things we should be spending money on here. So number one, I don't like any of it. Number two, I don't like CIA installed puppets like Zelensky. I don't like him. Never liked him from the very beginning. This guy's been shown to be playing a piano with his genitals. He's had some kind of gay nude dancing and leather. I don't like any of it. Okay, that's number one. That's number two. So my point is, Trump's right. We should never give any money to any foreign country or any foreign entity without security. You and I can't go to the bank without security. We can't walk in and say, "Hey, I want $5 million. Just give it to me." At the end of the day,
That's for sure.
this is important. And we need rare earth minerals. We're extremely vulnerable because the majority of the rare earth minerals, everybody knows, one of the largest sources is China. And if we ever get
and that's
into
what,
an
by
event
the way,
with
the
China,
Greenland discussion's about too. Just to be clear,
it is. And we made a huge mistake in Afghanistan. A lot of people don't know what kind of minerals were there, but we're talking about trillions of dollars, and much of them in rare earth minerals in Afghanistan. So that pullout, the way it was handled, the way it was done, the way we funded, all a mistake. This is important, and I think strategically this is genius on Donald Trump. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, my thoughts are this. I think that the details we don't know enough about. So to answer in details, I can't answer. But I can say this. The knowledge that we need partners in this, the knowledge to reach out diplomatically to discuss and work out agreements that make sense for us is brilliant. The deal could open up Ukraine's mass mineral wealth to the United States, and it could lock out other countries that are our enemies. So I think the idea is brilliant. I think that's the best way to go forward is diplomatic relations, working through things in a meaningful way, ink deals across the world that make sense for both sides. I see it as a positive, Lance.
I do too. I think it's a great move. I think it's important for us to, get back the money that was laundered through Ukraine. Zelensky's become, incredibly wealthy. $15 million penthouse in, Dubai he bought.
Which should have never happened.
A ski-in, ski-out resort that he bought in the south of France. He also got, he bought his family an $8.5 million house in Rijpan, Israel. Him and his cronies bought $45 million of property in.
Actually, we the taxpayer bought it, but I know what you're saying.
But so much of that money's been stolen. None of it really got to the front line. So again, we do deserve to get that money back. And as far as I'm concerned, all these monies around the globe where countries own us, it's time for them to pay it back. That's number two. And number three, I love what this did because did you hear what Putin's reaction was to this? He actually offered to strategically work together with the U.S. on their own rare earth mineral deposits, which I love that because at the end of the day, if you're partnered with these countries and you're negotiating with them and you're dealing with them on a regular basis, doesn't that create an environment where we're not going to have to worry about wars? Doesn't it make a situation where countries are working together? Because we know that Donald Trump...
If we're smart about it, the answer is yes.
Right.
And the reason I say if we're smart about it is if you got Joe Biden over there trying to work this deal out, I would be not for it. Because we'll get snookered. We'll get hammered. I mean, look, some of these people are smart as could be. They're smart as a whip. They're intelligent, and they take no prisoners. And so, you got to understand who you're dealing with. It's the mentality of the people that you're dealing with. But if you have the right people negotiating and dealing with these things that have America's first interest at heart, and if you truly negotiate fair deals, not free deals, but fair, honest, appropriate, hey, we all win with long-term relationships and mind deals, then it's incredible. That's what. But if you put Joe Biden over there or Kamala trying to deal with that thing, I just can't even be part of that thing. It's nuts. We'll get snookered. We'll get hosed.
Yeah. Well, I think we've got a very, very strong negotiator. Nobody can say that Donald Trump isn't a great negotiator.
He's a great
really
negotiator.
A sophisticated business individual. So I think if somebody was going to negotiate this deal for us, now's the time. And I'd love to see
I'm better, but he's pretty good.
Well, I agree with that. I actually do agree with that. But here's the deal. I want to see these alliances. I want to see strengthened alliances with Russia. Because I think it takes off the table us having to worry about, nuclear war. I think this kind of negotiation, this kind of dealing with high-level political figures and government officials from around the globe, this is what should be happening, right? Stop the division and chaos. Start a unification that's good for everybody.
Yeah, we can make more way. Well, they say, hey, honey is more valuable than vinegar when it comes to these kind of things. And I think this just goes into that exact paradigm where, we're going to get a whole lot more with appropriate win-win situations. And we're going to get a whole lot better off with diplomatic, rather than threatening war every time we turn around.
100.
Let me give you an example. I have a program that I developed, and I had Russians program it. They're the ones that coded it for me. And the Russians did a great job. They're brilliant programmers, and they wrote my this software that I have and all this stuff. Okay, I don't know if you know, but I wanted to get an upgrade to my software, so I reached out to the Russian team that worked on it. Because of current Biden disasters, I can't even pay those guys. I don't have any way to pay them.
Crypto.
Well, I could pay him in crypto. You're right. But then if you're not careful, though, then I'll be guilty of violating some laws, and I'll just go to jail.
Yeah, of course.
Stuff, right?
Isn't that terrible, though?
That's what I mean. It's just ridiculous. Whereas, why can't I have an appropriate? These guys aren't part of the government of any kind. These guys are good guys. They're just programmers. I have the source code. It's not like they gave me some bogus code or anything else. I've got Americans that can review it and make sure that it's all on the up and up and everything. But it's all shut down right now because of Biden.
And that's the ignorance and negligence and stupidity of that last administration and so many other administrations. Because let's face it, they got rich on war. They get rich on kinetic events. The military-industrial complex lobbying groups are so powerful that they don't want to see good relations. You know, if they can't sell a bunch of missiles and if they can't sell a bunch of infrastructure or rebuilding the countries, look at what BlackRock's done. The minute the war started, they already met with Zelensky within weeks to say, hey, when you're ready to rebuild, we're here to do it. You want to sign a contract now? We'll pay you for it. You know, I mean, that's the disgusting part of what's going on. You should be able to pay a vendor for services when it comes to programming. Why not?
Agreed. What harm would it, the answer to those is just hate-filled, and all it does is create problems for everybody. But here's the deal. This Ukrainian leader, Zelensky, is going to be coming to the United States on Friday. And I guess the other question is, in addition to these minerals and some of the things they're working on, what other good diplomatic relations can be formed? Lance, this is the next piece to this, right?
That is the genius of it. Let's face it. Look what Trump did with North Korea. He was the first American president to step into North Korea. You know, this guy has transcended boundaries in many ways. You saw his behavior at the G7 conference, a total goat, operating the way. So I think this opens the door wide open because let's face it, if we didn't have to spend so much money on our military industrial complex and all the support of that, can you imagine what good that money can do? We're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars a year. What if everybody focused that energy into improving the planet? And maybe taking ourselves all to a higher level of consciousness working together. I mean, it's wide open. And I think this is really what God intends, right? This is what we really are supposed to be doing instead of what's going on right now.
Now, they say the deal on the foreign policy front of U.S. President Trump's administration continued to advance at warp speed, ladies and gentlemen. It's a season of, quote, nonstop winning. You know what? Believe it or not, I'm usually critical of that because a lot of times people just say that and it's like not really true. In this case, though, it is true. I don't know if you know, but Joel Skousen, World Affairs Brief, has documented the wins that Trump has got in the last, 5 weeks? Is that what it is?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, all I'm telling you is they're just tremendous. When you read it, you go, wow. Then you read another one and you go, wow. Then you read another one and you go, really? Then you read another one and you go, are you kidding me? And I'm not one who usually falls for that kind of stuff, but there's a ton of good going on now. Now, might it be reversed if Congress doesn't act? Yes, and that's a chance we have to take, but you can't blame that on Trump. You're going to blame that on the clowns in Congress, etc. But the deal could open up this massive mineral wealth. The deal also, they say, comes without any security guarantees. I agree with that from a guarantee point of view, but I disagree because anytime you diplomatically build relationships of trust, there's hope that security is part of that by the nature. So I agree there's not security guarantees, but I do say there's more security in that than not, by far, Lance.
Well, it's compelling, right? This kind of a deal benefits. I'm sure Zelensky's thinking about how rich he can get off it, but at the end of the day, it's compelling that peace would come almost immediately because Donald Trump would probably go from the Zelensky meeting and fly to Russia and shake Putin's hand and say, let's wrap this up. Enough's enough. Let's stop the hemorrhaging for both sides.
And I pray that happens.
I do too.
I pray for peace, ladies and gentlemen. I pray for diplomatic relationships. I pray for the art of the deal that can bring peace to the world, that can bring mutual prosperity. Hey, I'm not against making America great again. I love it. I want to make Ukraine great again. I want to make Russia great again. I want to make Mexico great again. And there's ways that we can open up these mass mineral wealth opportunities. And all I can tell you is this. They say it comes without any security guarantees, but I say this. We're a whole lot more secure when people are talking than when they're not. I can promise you that. Lance Miliaccio and yours truly continue in seconds on your favorite hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use radio station.
How would you like to help this program reach more people and earn silver at the same time? Call or text 801-669-2211 for complete details.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Iran has stepped up its production of near weapons-grade uranium. That's according to a report by the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency, which says it is a serious concern. There he goes, thinking outside the box again.
President Trump says he wants to offer $5 million gold card visas with a path to citizenship, replacing EB-5 visas that have been offered to investors for 35 years.
You have a green card. This is a gold card.
Trump suggests the government could sell millions of the visas to help reduce the federal deficit.
They'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people.
The Congressional Research Service has found that with the current program, one risk is verification fraud for funds that were obtained illegally. Jennifer King, Washington.
The measles outbreak in West Texas has turned deadly. An infected person has died in hospital. 124 cases reported across 9 rural counties. President Trump's big, beautiful bill has cleared the House. A massive budget blueprint includes trillions in tax relief and spending cuts. House Speaker Mike Johnson says it is something to celebrate, although it has a long way to go before being finalized.
We got it done. We had the requisite number of votes to move this process along, and now passing the budget resolution in the House that will go to the Senate. This is the first important step in opening up the reconciliation process. We have a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we are going to deliver the America First agenda. We're going to deliver all of it, not just parts of it, and this is the first step in that process.
With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis unable to seek re-election because of term limits, Republican Congressman Byron Donalds has announced he is running for governor of Florida. He's been endorsed by President Trump. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 209 points. The Nasdaq trading 222 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
For many out on the streets with no address, when the hope dies, it's hard to be found.
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that simple. They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
Homelessness could happen to anyone.
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Their story is our story.
You never know in life why things work out the way they do. Never give up.
No Address, starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, and Ty Pennington. In theaters this Friday. Get your tickets at noaddressmovie.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save families up to $500 a month, and obviously that's a big deal, but they like it too, especially being part of something that reflects their values instead of working against them. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began, Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication and excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust, standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at rustgoldandsilver.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
Do you treasure your liberty? Well, at lovingliberty.net, we most certainly do. And we want to help protect your liberty too. Become part of the family. Everyone knows that the core of any society is the family. Therefore, the government should foster and protect the integrity of its family, we the people. Won't you join us as a Loving Liberty sponsor to help us promote the principles in the 5,000-year leap? Let's restore the miracle that changed the world at lovingliberty.net.
Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Team Crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Lance Miliaccio launches the Crypto Power Hour, kicking off this Friday on Rumble. Check it out. Look for it. Spread the word, will you please? All right. This is weird, but I want to try to encourage Lance to move to the great state of Utah now. I don't know if you know, but we've been talking about gold and silver for quite some time. I don't know if you know, but Utah was one of the first states to make gold and silver actual currency again. And my buddy Larry Hilton is the attorney that put all that together and got Utah on board. Now other states are following and calling, gold and silver constitutional currency once again. And so there's no penalty or taxes when you trade dollars for gold and silver if it's the right coins in the state of Utah, which is great news. And other states have followed, which is great news. But now Utah paving the way once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Utah may be the first state to ban fluoride. Yeah, the legislature sends the bill to the governor. The goal is to prohibit them adding it to water. Newser.com with the piece. Utah's on the brink of becoming the first state to ban the use of fluoride in the public water systems, reports NBC News. And we don't know if the Republican governor is going to sign it into law or not yet. So, folks, your job, put pressure, polite, peaceful pressure on the governor and say, sign this thing ASAP. Numerous cities across the United States already skip the additive, meaning fluoride in the water. And the Salt Lake Tribune points out that few areas in Utah actually add fluoride to the water. They say 2 out of 5 citizens have fluoride in their water, so most of the state doesn't add fluoride to the water, but a few, quote, big metropolis areas do. That's why it's 2 out of 5, even though most don't. Still, the Utah measure is notable because it would take the decision out of local municipalities' hands. That's exactly how things should be. That's according to State Rep Stephanie Grishas. She's a sponsor of the legislation. In her view, she says, hey, you know what? People should be able to get fluoride, add it to their water if they want to, and not if they don't. So what's interesting is right now, I guess you got to get a prescription for fluoride. So she's saying, let's get rid of that prescription deal. So you don't have to have a prescription to get fluoride. Let people add it if they want, but don't put it in the water for everybody. Don't do it by force. Amen to that, Lance.
Look, I mean, constitutional currency and now this, but you guys are going to need some new taglines, aren't you? Like maybe Utah, where cavities are a choice, land of the natural beauty. But the point is, fluoride's been determined to be extremely dangerous. Lots of people have talked about the fact that it lowers IQ. So I'm game. I might have to move to Utah because at the end of the day, they're still using fluoride here in Colorado. But it's a product that really has never been proven to be beneficial. They claimed it. And I don't know, for a lot of people out there, do people know, Sam, that this is actually an industrial waste product, fluoride?
I don't think people know that, no. And that's the whole point, is that I don't want fluoride by force, and I want education about it. Now, if you choose to have fluoride and you want it, that's fine. I don't have any problem with you choosing to have that if you want to. But don't force everybody to. And that's the problem with putting it into the water systems, is that it forces everybody if you're in a certain area, unless you're just going to go get bottled water or something else. But I don't want fluoride water when I take a shower either. I just don't want fluoride everywhere. It's a compound that's toxic. They learned this in World War II days kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, and here's a side effect of fluoride. It actually calcifies the pineal gland, which people often refer to as the God eye or the third eye. They're supposed to be where your intuition comes from. Now, why would they continue to let a product come in that actually is proven to calcify the pineal gland? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think what I love about this legislation
if you're
is
a godless communist
consent.
agenda, hold on. If you're godless and communist and you don't want anybody to have that, then go ahead and cloud that sucker, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I love pro-informed consent in any kind of legislation. This is all about individual choice. And
Amen.
I love that Utah is leading the charge.
And, numerous cities across the country already skipped the additive. And that's good. I really think that's huge. And I hope that they get it done. I just hope that the Utah governor does it. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Cox. I don't think personally he's a great governor. But hey, we could try to work with him nevertheless, right?
Listen, if he gets this one through, you might just have a little bit of a change of opinion, because I think this is an important one. I think the constitutional currency is a big deal too. You don't see that across the country, and let's face it, none of us that know about it think the fiat currency is a good idea, especially when you got a country that's created $36 trillion in debt, and what they're doing is charging us. They print a bill for cents on the dollar, and they charge us the full amount, and of course the interest, using the IRS as the collection arm. So
yeah, and let's be clear. If you create a bill for, say, 2.5 cents, 3 cents, and then you write that it's $100 on it, then you pop that into the society, you've already committed fraud, Lance. Then you charge interest on top of that fraud? And then they're going to go after this digital currency company or this crypto company and be like, "Oh man, you guys are violating our codes."
Exactly. But the Federal Reserve, who never opens their books up, that's a privately held institution by multiple families. What I'd love to see is the trend I've heard. I know you're apprehensive about this statement, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
They want to nationalize the Federal Reserve. That's the talk behind. I heard it even at Mar-a-Lago a couple times.
Well, if we're going to have to keep the Federal Reserve, at least if it was nationalized, then you could dig into the books, right? So I'm not telling you it's great, but it's better than the way it is. Right now, it's basically a banking cartel. And since Donald Trump declared war on cartels, let's go.
And I want to be honest with you. I agree with that 100%, because if we did nationalize it, what I'd like to see is all the assets of all those families that defrauded the U.S. government, every dollar of their assets clawed back to the American people.
Well, we could put them in homeless shelters, though. There's plenty of those around, so there's a place for them.
Yeah.
Because all the illegals are going away to Guantanamo.
We'll throw them a
so
condo. I mean, we'd be clawing back trillions. We could throw them each a condo somewhere, maybe in Seychelles.
Anyway, Utah's on the brink, ladies and gentlemen, of getting rid of fluoride in the water by mandate. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. By the way, who's in charge of Doge? The debate's been going on for quite some time. As you know, Donald Trump says Elon Musk is on one hand, and then on the other hand, when people really drill in and the reporters kind of ask, and then it's like, no, Donald's in charge and everything else. It turns out now the White House revealed that Amy Gleason is in charge. She's the acting administrator of Elon Musk's, quote, Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. And I guess she's the former official at the U.S. Digital Service, and she's the acting Doge administrator, a White House official basically said. So this is interesting because everybody's criticizing Trump, but Obama created this U.S. Digital Service. Obama created it. I believe that was unconstitutional then. All Trump did is rename the thing, expand it a little bit. Amy's still in charge of it. So I guess it's a little bit of egg on the face of those who are all against Donald on this thing because they didn't know the origins. They babbled at the mouth. They complained. Now we find out the reality of it. Now I still have a problem because it was never congressionally created. It's another topic. But in the meantime, hey, Elon Musk is moving forward in some great ways. Amy Gleason behind the scenes. Just another character to keep an eye on, right?
I like the results, at least that have been publicized about Doja. I know they've got a little bit of shakeup. A bunch of staff members resigned, saying that they don't want to do what's happening to these agencies because there's some fallout. You got people online, some of these ex-employees that didn't want to do the report, what did you do for us this week report that everybody's pushing back on. Literally only have to come up with 5 items. Couldn't take you more than a minute or two, but they're all pushing back because they don't want to admit they haven't been doing anything for the American people. But you got a bunch of them crying online, I just want my job back. There was an IRS agent today that was,
go get a job.
I just want to go back to work.
Just go somewhere else in the private sector and get a job.
You probably go over to Facebook. They hire plenty of ex-government employees.
Yeah, all you got to do is go work for CNN, too.
Yeah, that's right. You can maybe get it. You can get it on the air position. I mean, there are some openings. Joy Reid just got cracked.
Joy Reid.
I'm hoping the View's next. Slot. Oh, and they're saying that they're saying the firing was racist now. Now she's trying to claim it was racist. Not that her show was awful and divisional and nothing but stupidity. Nothing to do with the product. It's all got to do about. They got to play she's playing the race card now.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, Amy, they say that she was involved in the first Trump administration, too. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting twist, too, that everybody needs to understand. They act like this is all new and that Donald's just off his rock crazy, and it turns out that Obama created it. Maybe he was there the first time, and not a lot's changed except for they're taking serious action, and no one knows what to do about it if they're on the side of government scandals. Anybody who's for honesty and integrity, these guys just want to melt down. Quick example, I was on with Richard Mack yesterday, and we were talking about all Elon Musk said is, hey, I want you to give me 5 bullet points of what you did at work this week. If you don't, you're gone. And they rioted. They just had a go ahead and skip the break.
I know.
They just had a meltdown, and I just listed off what I did last week, Lance. And what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Go ahead and skip the break, Liz.
Yeah.
What did you do last week, Lance? Just for curiosity's sake.
Oh, I can't. If I started to list it, to fill
No,
out
no,
a
no. Just give me a couple. All you need. All he said was, I want like 5 bullet points.
Completed all the work behind the scenes for the Crypto Power Hour, which was really extensive.
Which is really 5 bullet points in one now already, but go ahead.
Yeah, negotiated some terms on a lease I have on a property I own, a rental property. Had to renegotiate some terms on a lease.
Okay.
You
did the big
did a new
TV show.
Working on a new sponsorship offer for one of our people. Set up about another 8 or 10 interviews into the future for the show itself. And I can tell you that just creating thumbnails and graphics, I can't tell you how many of those I did in the last
Okay, so
4 or
look,
5
it took
days.
you, what, 30 seconds to answer the question?
Yeah.
And these guys are rioting, spending hours and good airtime and everything else, just rioting, going, how dare he ask me that? How could anybody in the private sector would be asking that? I expect that of my employees virtually almost on a daily basis, Lance.
I mean,
What the
but
heck?
who doesn't? Effectively, isn't that part of good business? And isn't the
Of course it
government
is.
a business at the end of the day? It's a business for the people, by the people. But this
They're
is
called-
what's happened, right?
they're called
We've
KPIs,
enabled
right?
these people to be inefficient, to be lazy, to be ineffective, and to not want to do anything. They want to work from home. Their efficiencies through the basement. And now that they're being told that they actually have to earn their paycheck, they're up in arms about it, which to me, common sense. Listen, if they sent me that thing, I could give Elon Musk, if I was working for the government, I could give him a list in a matter of minutes of what I'd already accomplished for the week and what my plan was for the rest of the week. I'd probably over-deliver and said, and here's what I'm going to do for the rest of the week.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you don't know that week, if you're like, I just can't really remember, all you got to do is just email Elon and say, hey, I can't really remember what I did last week. I worked hard, though, I promise. In fact, let me, now that I know what you're asking for, let me keep track this week, and I'll tell you at the end of the week. You could even say something like that if you're that clueless.
But how can you even be that clueless?
No,
I
you
mean, when
can't.
Go
I'm
home,
just making a point that
you've
there's
gotta
even a
do the
grace.
dishes, you've got to
There's even a
sweep
grace
the
chance
floor.
now because he said we'll give you a second chance, right? So now you could just basically start tracking this week and then give it to him and get your second chance. I just don't even understand it.
Well, the difference is because you're a very hardworking guy. It's not only the radio show for you, it's the other businesses you're involved in. You're focused, you're delivering, and you're doing it not because somebody's hovering over you, because you're performing for your family. And you also enjoy the work you're doing. Who doesn't want to be productive? Government employees. They don't want to be answerable to anybody. And that's kind of the environment that's been created by so many different administrations, because let's face it, they don't want good employees. Because if it was a good employee and I was sitting there at USAID really doing the job and I saw all that theft, I would have become a whistleblower. I would have definitely
Without
done that. And, of
question.
course, and for that, I would have been penalized under these other administrations.
They'd
I would
probably
have
go
been
to
fired.
jail
I
or
would have
lose
been
your job
prosecuted.
or whatever else.
Yeah, they would have told me that I violated the terms of my agreement. They would have said that it was a national security interest and I couldn't do what I did. And I would have ended up probably, in one of the Department of Justice gulags around the country.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying it's just amazing that that's really the case, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to respond to this one. This is so weird. While using Apple's automatic, quote, dictation feature to send messages, some iPhone users reported seeing a peculiar bug. When you say the word racist, it puts in Trump. Now, they call it a message blip. They say it was replicated several times by the New York Times. And there's been a big old controversy because it appeared in a viral TikTok post, raising questions about Apple's artificial intelligence capabilities. An Apple spokeswoman blamed the problem on, quote, phonetic overlap between the two words and said the company was working on a fix. That's a lie. I'll tell you that right now as an IT professional.
How do Trump and racist have phonetic? Okay, Sam, you have to explain that to me in a way that I can understand.
Ready?
Because I'm obviously
racist,
very stupid.
Trump.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
See?
Yeah, that's very clear.
Yeah. Got it?
This smells
Liberty
like a
Round
prank,
Table.
but
whenever you see Liberty Round Table, it should just replace Trump, see? Because it's table.
Yeah.
See, Trump.
Yeah.
Got it? It's just nonsense. It's absolute boulder.
Well, hold on a minute. I don't want to fix this. I just want access to it so I can do some phonetic word replacement. I think every time you type in Biden, it ought to be, pedo. And I think every time Adam Schiff comes up, it should be Shifty Schiff. If it's Schiff, you've got to flush it. I think I can think of some great word replacements. Just give me access to this for a week or so. I'll have some good stuff going.
Without question. Now, they say the issue appeared to begin after an update to Apple's servers. Now, there's a guy by the name, he's an IT professional. His name is John Berkey, I guess is his name. He's the founder of OneRush, I guess is what it is. OneRush.ai. He says that it was unlikely that the data that Apple's collected for its artificial intelligence was part of the problem. He says, no, I think that it was intentional and everybody's been punked. There was probably software code somewhere on Apple's systems that caused it. This smells like a serious prank, he says. Well, he's being very polite about it. I'm telling you right now, it was absolutely intentionally done. The only question left is, did someone slip this into the data or into the code? And if so, who? But Apple's been having all kinds of problems with this in the past as well, though. And so, you can either look at it two ways. You can either look at it, they're assaulting Trump, or you can say that they shouldn't be running AI because they're not capable of it. They just have snafu after snafu after snafu, Lance.
I mean, look, it's funny. We just saw, of course, the CEO of Apple, Cook, just was at the White House. And in my opinion, deflecting the knee. And, of course, he's saying that he's going to double down, move some manufacturing of apples here to the United States, and he's going to invest, $500 billion into manufacturing in the U.S. To me, it's too little too late. I'm not a supporter of what he does, even though I use their products, and I wish I didn't have to. I'm just so hooked on them. I don't know how to get myself off. I feel like a crack addict when it comes to Apple products because it's the only thing I've been using for. Yeah, I can't help it. It's not because it's just because my knowledge base. I'm not as sophisticated.
But I think
as
Apple got snookered on this, though. I think somebody did it to mock Apple and to mock Trump and to do this and that and show how vulnerable the systems really are. In fact, I don't know if you know, but a bunch of wiki people made Siri go out in the weeds a couple of years ago, and they got caught at it and stuff like that because Siri was taking stuff from Wiki, and it was a big old meltdown too.
But Sam, I got to say this: is it leftist operatives inside of Apple?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Apple news feed, what I would have told Apple if I was president of the United States and he came to meet me at the White House, I'd say, well, what are you going to do about the Apple news feed? When he was talking to me about the $500 billion, I said, I appreciate your investment. What are you going to do about the news feed? Because that thing is so full of anti-administration garbage, anti-Trump rhetoric, Trump derangement syndrome, and it just goes on. And I feel like everything on Apple is so left-leaning. It's ridiculous.
I'm hoping Elon Musk can get with those clowns, and they can just start purging the clowns in there that discover who did this and just get rid of all this DEI. I
don't know, but how about Musk purges the clowns over at the current X? The suppression over there is still obvious. They've still got all kinds of garbage in the code. There's a guy named the Parzival.
Yeah, James Edwards is still shut down.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the garbage that's still going on X. I'd like to see Doja focus on X a little bit. I'd like to see some purging of those clowns in there. I'd like to see the code purged in there. I think it's still unfairly leaning. It seems like you can't get out of the the zone. If you're suppressed, you're suppressed. And I believe even the suppression on my accounts is still existent on the Big Mig Show and Lance Migliaccio. We should be getting literally hundreds, thousands. I used to get 150 million impressions plus a month. Now I get nearly nothing simply because I think the suppression algorithms are really in full swing because we were suspended and we got the accounts back. When is he going to clean up X? That's my question.
Amen to that. But Trump administration says they're going to go ahead and change the way things are going. Caroline Leavitt says they're going to change the way the press pool works.
Yeah,
what do you say?
First of all, what do you think about Caroline Leavitt? I love her.
I think she's fantastic. She's been on Liberty Roundtable with me. Great lady, doing a phenomenal job, if you ask my opinion.
I got to tell you, and I love that she's got, and I don't want to say a sharp tongue, she's just very quick on her feet. Because that press poll, it's been a bunch of nasty anti-Trumpers and anti-country, hyenas for a long time. And here's what I don't like about it. The press pool has always been extremely selective about who gets authorization, who gets to talk, and who doesn't get to talk. And that has been supported over and over and over again. And I'm happy to see that they're opening up, even though I haven't seen, did Liberty Roundtable Live get their seat there in the press pool yet, Sam?
Not yet. I filed for it. I'm waiting for it.
I filed for it too. Is the Big Mig Show going to get our seat in the press pool? Because I'd like to be in the press pool. What are the opportunities for us? But finally, they're going to take this power away from this group, this D.C.-based journalists. What do they call it? The White House Correspondents Association? Some kind of, unspoken union that only gave MSNBC and CNN access and who could ask questions. And, of course, it only filled the seats with what I would call the paid operatives of media, the politicos.
And they're saying it's an attack on press freedom.
Yeah, it's an attack on them controlling the press so that none of the alt media investigative journalists and all the people that have been fighting for Donald Trump for the last 9 years can even get a thought of getting access. And I still don't like what's going on. I got to be honest. So far, the people they picked to be part of the press pool are only the top of the food chain shows. What about all the rest of us that fought for this country?
And you got to discuss
Trump?
top of the food chain, too, because how much press, how much promo, how much government money got them to the top, how much of my tax dollars got them at the top of the food chain, and now then having them as press reporters just keeps them there. Why not bring other people and give them a chance? And I guarantee you put me in the press corps, you go ahead and give me a chunk of change like they gave all those other clowns, I'll be at the top of the press chain, too. You watch.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, for the longest time, the only media that's been getting any money is the left-leaning media. I mean, you just heard it. USAID gave $8 million to Politico. They gave money to AP. AP's filed an action in court hoping to reverse the fact that the money's been removed. I want to know how many of these press sources are going to go out of business because they aren't going to be on the government.
Well, you see all the liberal folks just letting people go right and left already as a result of it all, right? And then you got to let go. You can't pay Joy.
God, what about The View? Can we get The View canceled, Sam? Can we get The View canceled, please?
Those people are clowns over there.
Oh, they're so awful. And they're so, I can't stand, I hate nonstop divisional rhetoric. I hate it.
Right. Why can't we be Americans and work together on things that are great? Things that, for example, Trump trying to stop the Ukraine-Russia war and working on, a deal to where we can have some of the rare earth minerals and things we need. Everybody in America should be applauding peaceful negotiations like that. Anybody in their right mind should be happy about that, right?
100%. There's no doubt.
And they're just like, oh, it's because it's Trump, we got to be against it. If it was Biden doing it, would be for it. But see, if it's Trump, see, I don't care who it is. I'm for it because it's good for the country. It's good for America. It's good for our children, our grandchildren. It's good for peace. It's good for the world. It's good to make all these countries great again, right? It's great. But these clowns just can't see it because they're so full of hate, Lance.
And the truth is, when we talk about things on this show or we talk about on our show, the point is, Sam, that what's so important is people have to get past this political bait and switch program. Forget Democrats, forget Republicans, forget nonpartisans. How about just Americans fighting and unifying with Americans? How about us fighting for the country? How about fighting for what the founders and framers wanted for us? Forget hating on people. Why don't we figure out how to unify the country? Because we do it on our show, and I know you do it also. We don't pick sides. We go after everybody. If it's a Republican, if it's a Democrat, we don't care. Because our plan is just to educate and unify the country one episode at a time. And I know that's the same thing you do on your show every single day. But you know what would be nice, Sam, is if we could be part of the press pool. And if we could both get some financial support to help grow our shows so that it isn't only the insiders or the people that have the access to Elon Musk or the top of the food chain people that have been supported by certain parts of the administration, because we're not getting the support we should get. And I think it's well-deserved at this point. I've been fighting for this country for at least 9 years and longer.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Elon can fund us in the private sector. If he can put $44 billion into Twitter, or X now, he can certainly put several mil into Liberty Roundtable Live. And hey, he ought to put some money into the new crypto show going on, ladies and gentlemen, the Crypto Power Hour. He can put a little money into that, put a little money into the Big Mig. I mean, he wouldn't even blink an eye, and it would mean the world to us. It would all be done in the private sector. And then let's just shut down NPR and all the government funding to all these clowns, and let's see who can rise to the top and who fails, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the American dream, baby. Sink or swim. I'm telling you right now, we're ready to swim, baby. It's Billy Acho. Thanks for being alongside for the ride, thebigmig.com. Check it out on Rumble and everywhere else. LovingLiberty.net. God save the Republic.